Oh, it's Mr. McFeely.
I have seen the future, and he was wearing number 5, and I ain't talking about Robbie Grimsley, folks.
Took out the muffins, took out the trail mix, took out the cookies. They stole the monster cookies.
Wow, that's awesome. That is so awesome. Let's do some broadcasting.
Let's do some broadcasting. A surprise appearance from Mike McFeely because he texted me Sunday saying, well, I might be in a boat somewhere, and then the weather forecast changed, so you're here.
Yes.
You're wearing your Twins cap today in studio?
Yes. This is in support of the Polads.
Oh.
Yes, because
you might be the only one.
The Polad family are going to sell the Twins, apparently, trying to.
Exploring
the opportunity to sell the Twins. And they have taken so much guff from all the bloggers and podcasters and fanboys and jockstrap sniffers who think that if the Polads sell the team, then boom, Twins are going to win 7 World Series in a row. They're going to be like the Yankees. They shouldn't run it like a business.
Yeah.
It should be like a community thing. They should give away their money because they're billionaires. Shut up. As I tweeted out when the news became public about the Polads selling the team, be careful what you wish for. Because there's no guarantee that the next person is going to keep the team in Minnesota. Right?
Correct.
We don't know that.
We've been through that.
Las Vegas isn't going to be sitting there, but there's other markets that want Major League Baseball. And gosh, Major League Baseball has been known to let teams leave, so that's number one.
Okay.
And I don't know that whether there's something in the Twins lease that maybe they can't move. That's fine, but just be careful what you wish for. And secondly, there's no guarantee that the next guy is going to spend $100 billion on salary
of their money.
Because at some point, billionaires go, do I want to throw away $100 million a year on a baseball team? That's not how you become a billionaire. That's not the way it works. And so these bloggers, podcasters, fanboys, jockstrap sniffers, just you think this is going to be it. Like the Polads suck so bad that if they sell the team, they're going to sign every free agent. They're going to get Aaron Judge is going to be playing for the Twins in 2 years.
Or they'll be in the market for Ohtani.
And Ohtani is going to play for the Twins because the new owner is going to go out and buy everything. Just open the checkbook and go, get an all-star team. And by the way, too, I love Minneapolis. All right, I love the city. But here's a little secret to all you bloggers, podcasters, fanboys, and jockstrap sniffers. Just because you offer money to a player like Aaron, fantasy scenario.
Yeah.
Let's say Aaron Judge goes on the market and goes, you know what? The Yankees say, it's been a nice run. Guess what? Aaron Judge has an offer from the Dodgers, the Rangers, the Cardinals,
the Mets.
Where does Minneapolis fall on that list?
Low.
Right?
Not high up.
I mean, don't we hear that all the time about the Timberwolves?
All the time with the Wolves.
With the Wolves, they can't get players here because of Minneapolis.
Yep.
But apparently when it comes to baseball, to all these knotheads, it's like it's like, Minneapolis. No, it's not. Again, I love Minneapolis. I'm a Minnesota guy. Yeah. But if I'm a ball player, there's a lot of places I'm going. If the money's the same.
Right, correct.
Or I mean...
If the money's even, but locations are down to that.
Am I going to go to Los Angeles?
Yeah. Right.
Or again, St. Louis?
Yep.
Or the Mets?
Yep.
Or the Yankees?
Correct.
I mean, am I going to go there for the same money? Or am I going to go to Minneapolis?
Well, Ohtani's a perfect example of that.
So I can play 2 months in freezing cold weather.
Ohtani had basically the Blue Jays. If you remember that story last winter, it was Toronto. He was going to be on the plane, and then next thing we knew, the Dodgers had everything lined up. And by the way, it's L.A., and they are the best team out there. Why would he not go there?
So anyway, that's why I wore my Twins hat today in hoping you'd ask me about it, because I never wear a hat on your program because it's TV and I like to show off my forehead. Also, I've watched the last couple of videos I've done. I do. I watch them all the time. I
You're
totally,
looking back at the tape?
I totally look back at the tape. And
Analyze.
I rewind, and my wife is going, "Why are you watching yourself on TV?" I go, "You got to get better." I mean, how do you get better?
The only way to get better.
It's the only way to get better is
doubt.
to watch yourself multiple times.
Multiple times.
That's why I'm doing it. I noticed the shiny forehead, so I'm going. I went cap today for those two reasons.
I appreciate it. It's a nice looking hat.
Yeah, thanks.
You went back and watched the tape from Saturday night. What,
Only once though. I watched myself multiple.
Well-
I watched the Bison postgame video more times than I watched the actual game
Understood.
tape. But go on.
What stood out to you after watching it live and then seeing again from Saturday?
I think the same thing that I've talked about for months now is that the Jackrabbits can still win a national championship. They're still really good.
Yep.
They might be the best team in FCS still, even though they came out 4 points short on Saturday. But here's the deal, and it was proven on Saturday. They're beatable this year.
Yep.
They're not a juggernaut.
Yep.
And for anybody who thought that they were, like, there's no changes, they're the same. No.
I thought their weapons were not the same.
I heard you with Jeff yesterday, and the offense to me is what stood out for South Dakota. Everything was Gronowski, I thought. I mean, everything. Because the running backs,
nothing.
They
didn't do anything.
You know, Isaiah Davis ain't walking through that door.
No.
I mean, if you see
Pierre
some of the
Strong's not there either.
If you see some of the tape last year, the last couple of years of NDSU against South Dakota State, you saw Isaiah Davis breaking tackles and shoving guys aside. I mean, literally shoving Bison tacklers aside and going for 40 yards. That's not happening.
Yeah.
Amar
least it
Johnson,
didn't happen
Amar
Saturday night.
Johnson and Angel Johnson are really good FCS running backs.
Yep.
They ain't Isaiah Davis.
No.
The Yankee twins, the Griffin Wilde kind of showed up in the second half.
Yeah.
The first 3 quarters,
invisible.
The first 3 quarters, he wasn't getting open.
No.
And NDSU's defense was they were kind of in a shell, and I think they didn't blitz very much. They didn't need to. But to me, the offense really stood out. That they're just not. They don't have the weapons, and it's all Gronowski like checked down
A lot.
I mean, just like
Either
so
that-
many throws were little dump offs to the running back, as opposed to like a year ago it'd be they would scheme one of the Yankees open.
Pinpoint down the field. Yeah.
Yep. And then when Mark did have it, he had the game-winning touchdown. He had the clinching touchdown in the corner of the end zone to, I think it was one of the tight ends, if I'm not mistaken. Goring. It was Graham Goring. And he missed him.
Yep.
He was wide open.
Yep.
So they did scheme a guy open there. He was wide open. That's what stood out to me was the offense.
Yeah. How many times he threw the ball in the stands, Mike? It was at least 3 or 4 that he did that too.
Yep.
That he was
So
up, he just and then
And again, they could come back up to Fargo
Absolutely.
in December and win by 2 touchdowns. I mean, they're good. They're a good FCS team. They're not an all-time FCS team like they were last year. I mean, last year they were discussion of top 5 all-time FCS teams.
Yep. And they showed it. They played like
and this year, the Bison showed they're gettable this year.
That you wrote about this on Sunday about Cam Miller's last drive to basically cement, and you asked me when the Walter Payton votes are in, and I think that's pretty apt on that. No matter what the last 4 games are, I mean, he can't throw 10 picks.
Because the standard for North Dakota State is different than it is for everybody else when it comes to the.
So he's still got to throw 10 touchdowns
to the national voters on this stuff. I mean, there's still 14 people who voted for Montana State.
I know.
I mean, and that's fine, but it was just. I mean, NDSU just beat the number 1 team.
Yep.
NDSU was number 2, and they just beat the number 1 team.
Yep.
The number 1 team's first FCS loss in like 2 years.
December of 2021.
Yeah. And there's still people voting. I mean, just out of, even if you think that Montana State's the better team, just at least tip the cap and go, you know what? You won the game.
He still has not thrown an interception.
Nope.
Whereas we're through 8 football games and going back to last year's South Dakota State game. So now we're at 15, I believe, games since he's thrown a pick. That drive, man, that was pretty good stuff.
That was an all-timer. Yeah. I mean, that was pretty good. And it's, again, you and Kolpak yesterday were talking. I don't know. I haven't thought about it, but it's for him. The important thing is for him and for this team and for this program, frankly, and for the head coach. Pretty big game for Tim Paulson on Saturday, by the way.
And you could see it in his eyes after the game.
Pretty big game, pretty big moment, because that's that was the first one really where it's like, okay, which way is this going to go here? Is it going to be the same old, or is it going to be that we're going to reestablish?
Yeah.
I'm talking from an NDSU perspective. We're going to reestablish ourselves as the team to beat in FCS. And it was only 4 points. Wasn't always pretty, but didn't need to be. They won the game. But for Cam, he needed that.
Yeah.
I mean, because again, there's a different standard for him than there is for every other FCS quarterback. And frankly, I think he outplayed Mark Gronowski. He made the throws when he had to. That last drive was 7 for 7, 76 yards. He threw 2 balls during that drive that's 2 big time throws. The
one to Mackay,
where he scrambled,
and the one to Chris
Harris.
Yeah, yep.
Where he scrambled, evaded the sack, threw on a full run, on the money along the sideline, and that was the play where I think everybody kind of stood up and went, "Oh, wait a second! They're at mid. They might do this. Yeah. There's like 2 minutes left, and they're at midfield,
and it's 9-7
and all they got to do is kick a field goal."
Correct.
And then of course the throw to Rajah Nelson in the corner of the end zone couldn't get any better than that. It was a proper decision by him to do that. They got the one-on-one coverage on the outside with the same kid, by the way, who they beat for the other touchdown, and also the same guy they beat, I think, along the sidelines. So clearly
they were picking there.
I think it was Tucker Large's
backup.
There.
Yep.
And so just a great sort of a career-making drive. The season's not over.
Nope.
I mean, there's still some traps here the rest of the way for the regular season.
2 games at the end of the season, I think, are going to be awfully interesting now.
And in the playoffs. But if NDSU can get that top seed, I mean, Sam Herder's, he had SEMO at number 4.
I did.
I mean,
I know.
That number 1 seed is going to be kind of important.
He had Idaho at 8.
Yep.
And we know Idaho got their top quarterback back, but still, Idaho's not what they were even last year.
We don't think so.
No.
But they got to get healthy.
Correct. But you're exactly right.
But they get him here.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, so that's but
right.
Boy, you look at. I mean, all due respect to Southeast Missouri.
Yeah.
If you are North Dakota State, or if you are South Dakota State or Montana, it's not just a North Dakota State thing. If you are one of those top 3 teams, I mean, would you rather play Southeast Missouri at home, or would you rather play Montana State, South Dakota State, or North Dakota State?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question.
No. Email comes in. We make a lot of Cam's penalty from a couple years ago and how that changed the game. Similarly, if the Jacks don't self-destruct and finish that opening drive with a touchdown, does that game go differently?
Yeah, I mean,
The Jacks had plenty of self-inflicted wounds on Saturday night.
They had 10 penalties, and there were some big ones in there.
And they missed a field goal. They had a punt that was dropped the
Didn't
snap
lead any
of a
points,
punt.
though. The Bison
didn't take advantage of that one.
I can flip it around and be this guy and be a contrarian and say, but if North Dakota State could get a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1,
4th and 1,
they could have scored 30 points.
Not miss a field goal as well. Yep.
I mean, NDSU, how many times are you going to not get a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1? I mean,
not often.
Not often, and that happened 3 or 4 times in that game. And if NDSU gets those,
we're talking a different
maybe
game.
Maybe it's 27-9 instead of 13-9.
Before we go to break, one thing on the Miller throw to Harris that also should assuage anybody about his ankle. He rolled out, Mike. He made that play with his legs and threw with the ankle that he hurt.
Well,
on that throw.
And he also on that drive had a scramble for like 11 yards where he went full bore up the field. So it looked much better Saturday than it did against Southern Illinois.
No doubt. Let's break. We come back. We'll chat about the Hoops game tomorrow night in town. There's apparently some eyeballs on that. And the Wolves start tonight. The run to the NBA. Oh, yeah.
Celtics, Knicks, baby.
With Cat playing for the Knicks.
We don't care about that in our house. We care about who's on the green team.
We'll chat about that.
Why are we not getting NBC Boston on our direct TV anymore?
Oh, no.
Yeah, so if anybody's out there watching from Boston today,
let us know.
Figure it out, because my life is at a very dicey spot right now.
Back on Hot Mic right after this. All right. We may have figured out your NBC Sports Boston deal. You may have to get the league pass.
Oh.
For your television.
Because I got it
setup.
last year.
You may have. You may have gotten it for free last year.
I'm one of the 300 people left in America that has direct TV.
I'm with you.
Oh, so it's two of us. Do you ever actually look at your bill for your direct TV bill? Because I don't. God bless my wife, because she handles most of that stuff. because I'm always fixing. I really don't do much around the house. But
you were raking leaves, you told me the other day,
well,
though. You're
yeah,
doing that.
I was putting stuff out of the shed. Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
all right.
But every once in a while, I'll get a glance of my DirecTV bill. After I pick myself up off the floor, I pour myself 3 fingers of bourbon and go sit in a dark room and contemplate my life.
So I'm not going to pick on Michelle, but I did not know. I know she was a big-time Celtics fan, but the fact that she watches the pregame, every game?
Every game.
Wow. That's awesome.
And I mean this in the most loving, caring way possible. She is a rube.
That's awesome.
She's an insider.
Oh, well.
Yep, she's a Celtics insider. If you need to know something about the Boston Celtics,
go to her.
Just ask her and she'll tell you who the 3rd string power forward is from Duquesne that they just cut and sent to the G League.
So they got the Knicks tonight and Cat.
We don't care about the Cat. It doesn't matter.
How about the Wolves tonight on opening night against the Lakers?
I was just listening to a national radio program on the drive in, and they were talking about how excited it is to see Bronny James tonight. And it was very sarcastic.
Yeah, I bet.
They even came up with a song.
I bet they did.
That went with the tune of the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Yes, that Dan Patrick is pretty funny.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's okay.
The expectations for Ant and the boys is sky high after what happened last year.
Yep,
I mean,
as they should be.
Yep.
It's fun.
After him playing on the Olympic team as well, the additions, I really like DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
I love what he was doing last week with Tibbs. It was awesome.
I'm so happy that the Wolves are relevant.
Are good, yes.
I mean, I'm a basketball guy. Can't wait for the ball game tomorrow night, by the way.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
It's an exhibition game. I can't wait. But as a basketball, in a state of basketball. State of hockey, my arse. Okay, fine. Everybody plays hockey. Whatever. You skate around because it's frozen here 7 months out of the year. Good for you. Minnesota's churned out so much great basketball in the last 25 years that it is a destination for high-level college recruits to come and steal all of our players away from the programs that are actually around here.
Routinely,
yes.
Whether it's Duke,
Gonzaga,
Kentucky,
Get the hell out of here. Krzyzewski, or whoever's coaching down there now. Get out of here. Leave us alone.
Oh, man. Let's chat about that tomorrow night. You broke the story over the spring that there were conversations that the Dragons and Bison were going to play an exhibition game, and here we are tomorrow night.
Yes.
There's going to be some butts in the seats of the shack.
I hope
so. I think there will be. We're televising the game. I think there's going to be some eyeballs on it, and the Dragons are experienced. They got some new guys back, some transfers in. The Bison, half the team is new. I'm really, really interested on this one.
I think that both head coaches like their teams extremely well.
Yes.
That's what I would say. Tim Bergstrasser, I talked to him a little bit this fall when I was over there doing some Dragon football stuff, and he just said, I like the team that we've been able to put together. I think we're strong and big, and we'll be a pretty good team again this year. And Dave Richmond, you've talked to him more than I have, but the little I've talked to Dave, he likes the kids he's brought in. Mason Miller, not the Mason Miller who plays right tackle for the football team.
He could play basketball, though.
He did in high school.
Day and Ada,
Who stopped him in Minnesota class?
Your guy, Jesse Berg from MSUM. They had some classics with Ada and LPA in the old
I asked
days.
Mason that last. I said, who stopped you in high school? Because he's huge.
He's a monster.
He is a monster man. Like, who stopped you in high school basketball? He goes, I don't know. It's like 6'7". I mean, wow, he's big.
But they got him from Indiana State. Brennan Watkins, they really like. Transfer from VMI, maybe to run the point. Jackson Money's going to get a lot of attention, obviously being the local
He's a good
kid
player,
from Northern.
That was a good get for Dave.
That I think Luke Kasubke's going to play a bit as well, the Illinois State transfer.
And the guys coming
back are pretty good.
If you look at the guys that got, I've heard good things about Noah Federson.
Federson's taking that step.
And not from, this is from somebody else. This is not from Dave Richmond. This is from somebody else connected to the Summit League, I'll say. They said Noah Federson he's like going to be better than he was a year ago.
Okay. Noah was pretty good last year.
Yep. And so,
all right.
I mean, so they, other people in the Summit League like North Dakota State.
The Bison were picked third. And granted, would you just close your eyes, Mike, and look in the that's what I did.
Yep.
For the preseason ballot with the amount of change.
In basketball.
In men's basketball,
but
especially.
If you look at Federson, Jakari White, Tajavis Miller, that's three really important guys coming back. So in a league and in a world where there's no stability, you could argue that North Dakota State has the most stability in the Summit League. Maybe Kansas City has they have some guys coming back, but
the Jacks don't.
But I mean, they're always going to get guys in Brookings, and
Hendo does a good job.
Hendo is a good coach. Paul Sather at UND does a nice job in the portal, and they have a couple guys back as well. Trayson Eaglestaff
Your guy's back too.
Is really good. Oh,
Kaluovich is back too.
I can't pronounce his name.
Couldn't
3. Spell it to save my life.
Mark Kaluovich,
but the way he plays is
he's your guy. Yeah.
Everybody's got to love the way that kid plays, right?
Just never gives up on a rebound.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I'm excited about this. I hope it gets some people to watch or people to go to jumpstart the season.
I think part of it, and I don't want to speak for Dave. Richmond can speak for himself, but part of it's got to be for him to say, let's play this game to get some attention.
Yep.
To get some butts in the seats.
Especially this week with football, who they're playing.
Right. I mean, let's get some people in the shack, and we have a good product.
And did you see yesterday what they announced? They're going to have DJs at men's and women's basketball games
I wonder
this
where they
year.
got that idea from. Wonder where they got that idea from.
They had it for the women's game against Montana and the WNIT. That worked. Place was hopping.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they don't want to rely. Maybe they don't want to rely on you and I to get people in the seats anymore. Maybe they said, "Wait a second."
I'm still waiting for my cut of that.
Wait a second. Maybe McFeely and Izzo taking pot shots at us for 2 weeks straight.
Pot shots was accurate.
Yeah, I took some pot shots.
You could tip your Minnesota Twins cap on
I took
that
some
if you
pot
want.
shots.
We got to roll.
I'm known for that.
Nah.
Yeah, that's true.
We'll see you tomorrow at the game then. All right.
Yes, you will.
And good luck on if you got to get the league pass.
Well, I'm going to text her right now and say, Dom says.
Throw me out. Yeah. You want to throw me under the bus?
Dom says, here's the deal.
Yes. I think that's the deal, though. Good to see you, bud.
Good to see you.
Talk to you later.
Yep.
Mike McFeely joining us each and every Tuesday. We'll break. We come back. The aforementioned head coach of the Dragons, Tim Bergstrasser, joins us to preview tomorrow night's game. We're back on Hot Mike right after this.